மதுரை தெற்கு வேட்பாளர் விஜய், மதுரை வடக்கு வேட்பாளர் விஜய், மேலூர் விஜய், சோழவந்தான் விஜய், திருப்பரங்குன்றம் விஜய், திருமங்கலம் விஜய், உசலம்பட்டி விஜய்.
So he delivered an excellently entertaining speech, and he had a lot of colloquial words mixed into that. Say he went on a frontal attack on Prime Minister Narendra Modi, no less. Clearly said today, it is TVK versus DMK. So he is positioning as the main challenger.
Hello and welcome. I'm Srinivasan and this is Talking Sense with Srini. We're discussing actor Vijay's speech at the iconic city of Madurai, no less a political blockbuster in 2025. Joining me to decode further is our editor-in-chief, Mr. Srinivasan. Thank you very much for your time, sir.
Yeah, hi Vijay.
Let me begin with you, sir. Vijay went all out, taking pot shots against the BJP, the RSS, DMK and the AIADMK as well. You think he's come out with a concrete political messaging this time in Madurai?
Yeah, you're right. In a way, if you look back in Vikramandi a year ago, he has actually laid the basic ground for what he's going to do. So everybody was looking at him very carefully, what is going to be his political ideology, what is the message he's going to give people at large, what is the message of political parties, what is the message he's giving to cadres. So those are the kind of things people are looking for, and he did say two important things then. One, he said my political enemy is DMK, and he defined ideological enemy BJP as ideological enemy. These are two important things. And the third thing he said about coalition, he said that in Tamil Nadu the coalition is between AIADMK and DMK. These are two major formations, but they should take into account the fact that others should also be given a space in the ministry. That's the kind of thing he said. But other than that, he did not detail out. His other the details of the speech did not had any any personal attack or any such thing. But today, if you see, he delivered some hard punches. He did not pull back any punch, and he was kind of very devastating. You see, his delivery was, as he's a good, he's a kind of a superstar, and he's a trained actor who could deliver his dialogues very well. This seems to be very well rehearsed dialogues, and his delivery was, perfect to T. And he didn't have any prompt or anything, but he seemed to have rehearsed it well. So he delivered an excellently entertaining speech, and he had a lot of colloquial words mixed into that, and he's a kind of a politician who's trying to say that, I'm not bound with the traditional political, discipline which other politicians follow, that he should speak a certain kind of a Tamil. He didn't bother about that. He had a lot of colloquial things mixed into his speech. And therefore, on the overall, the package was very, very impactful. Now, since you asked politically, what did he say? He went on a frontal attack on Prime Minister Narendra Modi, no less. And that should come as a bit of a surprise and also boost for his own political cadres. Now, what did he try to do? By doing that, he's trying to kind of look at anti-BJP votes in Tamil Nadu, which is very prevalent. Similarly, he launched a frontal attack on DMK. He named MK Stalin by name, but of course instead of naming him directly, he used the word uncle for him. And we'll come to that later, what it meant. But what he did was, by saying that again, he said that what the people expected from you, you haven't delivered. And there are a lot more expectations, you made a lot more promises, but then your government has been dysfunctional, whether on a law and order situation, whether on corruption, whether on safeguarding, or providing security for women. All those things he said. But on the other hand, as far as Modi is concerned, he dwelt on a much larger issues. He said, look, whatever due is the state of Tamil Nadu in terms of funds, you're not giving us. You are not protecting our fishermen, and you are actually ideologically trying to harm minorities. That's a very important point he tried to make, that he directly said that, look, you are trying to isolate them. So these are some direct political messaging. On the one hand, while he took on these two major players, he did not mince words about others also. He had a very strong message against Seaman, who has been doing, Seaman has a party here, which basically is, its ideology is sub-nationalism. And he attacked this party saying that, look, if you call, there was some exchange between him and the cadre. Seaman addressing his on Sunday, he said that, look, if I am a tiger, I mean the analogy was if Seaman is a tiger, then the supporters of
squirrel.
They were squirrels. So he was kind of trying to say when the tiger enters the jungle, the squirrels may get hurt. So he requested them to go sit on some trees or take some protective cover because the tiger has arrived. What he meant to say was he kind of trying to belittle his political prowess. He countered at saying that when when the lion comes, then everybody runs away. So he, his analogy was I'm like a lion. But then these filmy dialogues apart, what he was trying to convey is that we are a much larger force, and I'm not going to take on anyone else. I don't bother about the smaller fringe parties. My idea is not to take on votes because Seaman also has a lot of young people supporting him, that I'm not aiming at him, I'm not aiming at others. In a way, he said, I'm not even aiming at the AIADMK, though AIADMK cadres must all be pretty distressed that they are not getting a good leadership. Right. So in a way, he signaled that he could cross over, but then he was trying to project himself as someone who's going to take on DMK head on.
There were murmurs of Vijay forming potential alliances or even the third front during the Vikramandi conference last year. With Vijay now slamming the AIADMK, you think he has put an end to these kinds of conversations, officially to go solo in the 2026 elections? How do you view this?
Well, you could look at different way. So sometimes what happens is you could turn disadvantage into an advantageous position. Probably he sees an opportunity that he could not form an alliance with anybody. So that's what. So when he launched the party, everybody thought that there will be bidding for Vijay. Other parties will be running after him. They'll all be very keen to associate themselves with him. Nothing of that kind happened. Nor he could join any alliance which he wanted. So he is in a way going to be on his own, and he's trying to kind of make a virtue out of that by turning it around on its head and saying, look, the alliance is not required. I'm good on my own, and all 230 seats plus I'll fight on my own. This is quite a change. As I said earlier, in a year ago, he was actually pleading on behalf of alliance partners, smaller partners, where he said that they should be given a share in power. From there, now he's saying these alliance partners do not matter. There is no need for any alliance. I am good enough. I can take on DMK on my own. Because he also tried to belittle the alliance, saying that DMK is in alliance by kind of, he used the word that bogey of secularism. That's what they're raising to be in alliance. But on the other hand, he said BJP alliance, of which AIADMK was part, he says it's more out of fear because DMK leaders are perhaps fearing raids, and therefore they are stuck together with BJP. So he was actually quite direct, unsparing in his attacks on these people. So in that sense, I think he tried to take on the alliance politics, as you were saying, that he couldn't form an alliance, but he tried to make a virtue of that, saying that he doesn't require an alliance.
Vijay is also criticized by his opponents for what they call is work from home politics. You think now he has come out with a lion eulogy during his speech. Sort of, do you think this metaphysical way of expressing would now put an end to this criticism of work from home politics?
Well, these are political rhetorics. So he uses a flowery language. He called himself as tiger, lion, and somebody else. These things are good for
drama.
It creates a certain drama. You can speak from the stage, keep your audience together, and then you keep them engaged. After all, please remember it's hot sun today, and I think there was a large crowd, more than expected crowd. Some people estimate it might have gone 5 lakh plus. So you have to engage them, you have to entertain them. So that's what he was doing. I think these things, I really don't think these kind of these matters really, these things really matter. But yeah, it's an interesting twist which is trying to give. Like I said earlier, he's an entertainer otherwise, and but the other important point is here, despite being an entertainer, he is trying to say that please don't think that entertainers do not have brains. All that the political class, the disdain towards the people coming from entertainment industry, and a smugness of political class, and he was also trying to break it by saying that please don't underestimate them.
That's right, sir. Vijay also took a satirical swipe against Chief Minister MK Stalin. He called him Uncle Stalin. What do you think he's gotten harsh this time?
Well, yeah, that's very interesting. See, as I said, he was conversational. He was vibing his audience, which is largely young, and you know that nowadays young people do address their their seniors.
The boomers, you mean to say.
Yeah, in a way. As uncles, which is a double-edged meaning. Taking a pot shot at age. So saying that, look, well, you're past your prime. Probably, I'm the one new mover, so make way for me. And that's the kind of a message also the younger audience would read. And instead of directly saying it, he was using this, phrases perhaps to convey that kind of image also, that I'm a young person, I'm ingratiating myself with a younger audience. So that's the language he tried to use. And I think the crowd responded to that very well. And they also cheered him whenever he spoke things like this. I think it's very deliberate, and these words are chosen very carefully. So it's a kind of also conveying a certain sense of irreverence to his opponent, but yet not being he wasn't abusive or impolite. He wasn't polite, but he was irreverent and conveying a message. I think that's what he tried to do by using these phrases.
Vijay also raised key pertinent issues of Tamil Nadu, Katchatheevu, NEET and even Keeladi, for example, to sort of criticize the Bharatiya Janata Party. You think he's kind of trying to grab the anti-BJP vote bank, which has been the foundations of DMK's rise to power?
Yeah, so that's very interesting what you're asking. Is end of the day, people do also ask him, okay, fine, political rhetoric is one, which he did, and his speech was lots of rhetoric in it, but what about issues? Is he talking about issues? He did try to pick up few issues. One about fishermen, which is a very well-known problem here. But then he said, Katchatheevu should be brought back to, which should be merged back with Tamil Nadu, which is not going to happen. It's again rhetorical, but then he made it a point just to drive home, and this has been a continuing theme in Tamil Nadu politics. Similarly, he said NEET. Everybody knows that NEET reversal is not going to happen, but then he said, I would be very grateful if Modi ji cancels NEET for us, because that we don't need it. Third, as I said, Keeladi. Keeladi is very important because it kind of, and he was in the land of Madurai, so he is trying to say that, look, we have a very old history, tradition, don't try to belittle it, don't try to erase our, and don't try to rewrite our, our importance. I mean, these kind of messages, as you correctly said, these are all Dravidian pitches. And this is not just a BJP pitch, this continues for AIADMK also. Just that there is a difference in the tones, the way they speak. So the bedrock of Tamil Nadu politics more or less remains Dravidian. I think he has laid that again, and he is speaking on the top of that same, initial,
what's already been made.
the crust which is there, and he's based his party as well on that, and that's what largely, without speaking Dravidian politics, it is difficult to kind of do your political work in Tamil Nadu, which is there. So therefore, I think he stated these things, factually in a sense that he has to say these things, and you correctly said that the idea is to chip off a certain part of anti-BJP votes, and also ingratiating himself with the DMK cadres, and issues which appeal to larger mass of people.
We also saw Vijay invoking CN Madurai, MGR. He even crooned a song one of MGR's popular song on stage, and given Puruchi Kalaignar, Captain Vijayakanth, he said. So son of the soil of Madurai. So, is he trying to sort of, bring about some kind of an anti-BJP, anti-DMK mascot here in Tamil Nadu and taking on the DMK more directly this time? And do you think that this particular idea of, sort of cherry-picking icons from different political outfits would certainly work politically? How do you view this?
Clearly said today, it is TVK versus DMK.
That's right.
So he is positioning as the main challenger.
Yeah.
The challengers. He sees himself as challenger, not just to DMK but also challenger to the regime. He's kind of talking the language of regime change. That's what I'm going to do. But he did it through the past, giving examples. So like I think in the earlier episode we discussed what happened in 1966, 67 and 1977, where you saw Annadurai and you in 66, and then you saw later, a decade later, MGR taking over. And these are in a way transformative in Tamil Nadu politics, as we discussed earlier. So I think he is trying to suggest that I'm going to be one such transformative leader who on his own charisma and the appeal, I'm going to win these elections. So that's what he tried to show. And then of course MGR is a mass-based politician, and evoking MGR is extremely important to also get the AIADMK cadres on this side. But while doing so, he also referred to DMDK leader Vijayakanth, because after all Vijayakanth is from Madurai and there is a huge appeal for Vijayakanth. Vijayakanth managed to win, at least he did very well in 2011 assembly elections and got, he became the leader of opposition, though he was aligned with Jayalalitha's AIADMK then. He was very successful, one politician who after MGR, somebody who could on his own, he stood out. So, and he was also called as kind of, a version of MGR.
That's right, yeah. The Karuppu MGR.
Karuppu MGR, that's how he was defined. So, he kind of wanted to take his legacy also. The idea was that when he evokes these leaders' names, he would get his supporters on his side. So that's why he once again recalled his name and saying he's the son of the soil from Madurai, and recalling his name. And he was also an actor, and he was a charismatic actor, and he was also seen as a kind of a do-gooder. And so there's a lot of, Tamil Nadu politics, celluloid and politics are very much intertwined. It's very much mixed. The entire the conversation here, the political language here, you cannot take one from the other. These are like inseparable components of the state politics, and that's why he was kind of speaking about them.
Thank you very much, sir. Pleasure talking to you.
Thank you.